when I was a kid, I grew up a evangelical conservative.
Hmm.
Back in the 90s, all the Christian right were boycotting Disney because like Disney World had a Pride Day or something, or a gay
Hmm.
day. I think it was called Pride Day back then. But I remember churches losing their minds. And I remember
Hmm.
hearing several people say these exact words, saying, I can't believe they have like a day celebrating homosexuality. What? They have a day celebrating murder next? People say that all the time, like those exact words. And I'm not joking. Like, it sounds insane, but they said it all the time. And so they've been boycotting Disney for a long time. And conservatives have been, they did it again with the "Don't Say Gay" bill, and
Hmm.
they boycotted Target because Target had gender neutral bathrooms.
Hmm.
They boycotted Starbucks because Starbucks took away Christmas decorations from their cups and just made red cups. They boycotted Nike because of their support of Colin Kaepernick. They boycotted the NFL because of Colin Kaepernick. I mean, they just cannot stop boycotts, and it never works. It never works. Like because these companies are too powerful. They're gonna ride through your boycott and then just ignore you. And it's like, and
Hmm.
it's just, I don't know. They did the same thing with Dylan Mulvaney with Bud Light, which is a really insane one
That
because
one
like it's
actually
not
worked though. Like that
so.
one did.
So it depends what you mean by work, because they still celebrated Pride Month. Like I
Uh,
said, this happened last year, and I was like, listen, yeah, you're gonna get mad and everything, but guess what? Come June, they're gonna have Pride, and they did, and they did. So it's like, yeah, they didn't have another trans. And by the way, it's like she didn't even have like a line of commercials and shit. They just sent her a can because she was an influencer, like one of 400 people. So yeah, like economically, they did suffer a little bit, but they're going to be right back where they were. They're still going to celebrate Pride Month. And Matt Walsh is actually losing his shit because what was the name? Dana White just got, and don't know if you saw that, but Dana White from UFC just got into
you've hit a lot of like names that perk my ears, and I haven't heard whatever you're about to say, so I'm very interested.
yeah, so Dana White got into some sort of business arrangement with Bud Light. It was for like, I think it was $100 million, like for whatever, with UFC or something. And so he was talking about how proud he was of the camp. Of course he was. I'm $100 million, so I'd be proud too. And he said that, listen, the way I look at that stuff, what happened last year, I don't care about that. We're moving on. We're looking forward. And a lot of people, well, I saw Matt Walsh complaining about this. And anytime Matt Walsh is complaining, it's always entertaining. But he was saying, no, we can't let off the brakes here. We got to keep punishing Bud Light. And they're like, man, like, why? All the people like commenting on his Twitter page were saying, look, they're backing good, solid, red-blooded Americans like Dana White. And he's like, that doesn't mean that they didn't apologize for this stuff. Like, they gave like a wishy-washy thing saying, oh, we didn't think it through. But this is the first time conservatives have had like any type of culture war victory. We need to step on the gas. Like, yeah, man, it's not going to work. Like real life carries on. Like, how mad do you think people would be mad at Dylan Mulvaney, for this issue? How many times is Kid rocking a fire machine gun at like a 24? But it's like, come on, it's unsustainable. And both sides. Like I've said many times that I don't really participate in boycotts. I don't, or at least I don't champ, because like I don't know how effective they really can be. Like
Mhm.
Chick-fil-A, for example. Like we've been against Chick-fil-A for a long time. It's nothing. It's like nothing's gonna happen with it. And so I don't know.
I think that boycotts can be effective if done right. Or if they strike the right lightning. Like I think, for example, the Bud Light boycott. The reason it worked, and Matt Walsh took so much credit for the Bud Light boycott. Like the whole Daily Wire crew, they were like, "Oh, we did it, guys. We're winning the culture war. We're really turning this one around." And it's like, no, the reason it worked is because the entire fucking demographic of people who drink Bud Light are goddamn frat boys and people who don't have any more maturity than frat boys. And so, like, yeah, a fucking meme about trans people and Bud Light being gay is going to ruin the fucking brand because the people who are going to be affected by that are also the entire core demographic of the brand. The reason that a Chick-fil-A boycott doesn't work is because people don't care enough. Like the key demographic of Chick-fil-A is fucking like families who want a good meal for a cheap amount
It's
of money.
everyone. Like
It's
it's
it,
literally, yeah, it's
it's
delicious
like they're
food.
not
Yeah,
gonna like it's the place. Like I if you try and go to my local Chick-fil-A at fucking 6 o'clock on a weekday, it's gonna take you an hour to get your
exactly. Yeah,
food. That's how fucking in demand it is. Them donating to anti-gay charities and conversion therapy ain't gonna move the needle for enough
it's
people.
not. It's not.
But
Eh,
the counter argument I will make is there are many American states that have laws that make it illegal to boycott, divest, the divestment in Israeli
It's most
clothing.
states. It's like
So
38 states.
my thing is like, why would that even be a thing if they didn't work? Like, why? You know what I mean? Like, clearly they must be working because they're scaring someone.
It's just to get. I think it's a stretch to say the Bud Light boycott worked. Worked is like, yeah, they
It
lost
hurt them.
some.
It lost
They
them
hurt.
money.
Yeah, they lost some money. But it didn't scare them away. It didn't make them like stop doing the Pride Month thing. Is the point I always point to is that they still did it, and if they were really terrified of it, they would have stayed away from it. They did not, and this time next year they'll be even less afraid. And the best example of a boycott working, like the most meaningful one, is the Montgomery bus boycott in the 60s. And I bring that one up too because you know how long they boycotted? It was like a year and a half. It was like a year and a half. And that's how long it took before, they finally buckled. Ain't nobody got that kind of discipline today. It's not happening. I'm sorry. Like people, and that was an important one. And so, like, your transportation to work and to school and to church and everything and to get groceries, that actually mattered. Buying a chicken sandwich, it's not up there. It just ain't. And so a boycott can work, absolutely. Some have, but like another example, a man going weird with the boycott one. It's like another topic in and of itself. But do you remember last year or earlier this year with the Harry Potter game? I can't remember if it was last year or early this year.
Yeah, it was. I think it was early this year.
Yeah, and people were saying, hey, don't buy the Harry Potter game and everything. And I remember watching videos and stuff on it. And there's a YouTube channel I like called Renegade Cut. And I remember he made a video about it. And he was pro boycott. He was saying how, it's the moral thing to do because J.K. Rowling is a massive transphobe. T-Bomb would have been great for this one. It's a massive transphobe. And, if you want to play this game, it's like, why do you want to play it so badly? Like, do you want to play it because it's like a wizard game? Well, there's plenty of wizards and magic games you can play. Do you want to play it because it's like an RPG or whatever? He listed all this kind of stuff, like how your alternates to the Harry Potter game. And I was like, that's not a good argument. I'm sorry, it ain't. I don't think it is at all. Like I like Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2. Love, best writing I've ever seen in any fiction in my life. If it turns out that the creator of Red Dead Redemption was a massive racist, like this guy was like, Bull Connor, like in modern times, and he came out Red Dead Redemption 3, I'm buying that game. I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm buying it. I am. Yeah, nothing's gonna stop me from buying Red Dead Redemption 3. And you can say, well, this other cowboy game, fuck you. I'm not buying it to play a cowboy game. I'm playing because I have a connection with the story and these characters in this universe. And so, look, if you want to buy the Harry Potter game, I don't give a shit about Harry Potter, so I didn't care either way. But I understand you're like, nothing's going to happen with J.K. Rowling. Like, all it does is take away some small amount of enjoyment that I have in my life. And J.K. Rowling is still going to be a transphobe. There aren't nearly enough people that view this as important enough for it to work. It just seems like a very online thing to do. Now, listen, if I had like if I really loved Harry Potter and I bought the game and I had a trans close friend, I wouldn't tell him. I wouldn't talk about it. I wouldn't be like, you're an asshole for asking that. But yeah, I just have not even mixed feelings on boycotts. It's just mostly one way that is useless, and then like a tiny percent of the time where it can work, depending on the demographic, like you said.
I think juxtaposing the Montgomery bus boycott with the Harry Potter boycott is very clearly demonstrating your point here, because in order for a boycott to be effective, it can't, what you just said, it can't just be a just online thing. Like it can't just be the people on Twitter like, oh, you got to boycott this, because you know what? Most people aren't online. As much as we like to think they are, as much as we like to think Twitter and TikTok and all this is the, lifeblood of American discourse, and in many ways it is, most of the people who are buying this shit have no idea there was a boycott.
Won't even see it.
Yeah, I mentioned one of my friends like said they were buying it, and like I was like, no, I wasn't personally enough interested in it anyway. That's not my kind of game. But like I was just like, yeah, and like I'm not going to spend $70 and there's the whole boycott thing happening. They're like, what boycott?
Yeah, right.
And like this is a relatively online connected person. Even she was, and like politically active person. Even she was like, "Well, boycott," because it doesn't work that way. It requires a lot of work and organization and activism and getting people together in real life to organize a boycott, to put up picket lines, to get national attention, to do PR. That's when it is effective. But if it's just like, oh, everyone don't buy this game, it's never going to fucking work because it's just going to be replaced by the next thing. And I think that's the reason why boycotts don't work. The last thing I wanted to mention on this topic, I think, and I've said this before, Bud Light made the wrong decision. They should have went all the way with it. They should have been like, oh, you're gonna call us the gay beer? Well, guess what, motherfuckers? We're gonna release an ad that's gonna play on Monday Night Football of the most homosexual fucking dude slowly drinking a Bud Light and being like, guess what, bitches? That's not a dude.
Oh
If you,
man, that's great. Just
and
go all in. Why not?
I would have went and bought a case. I would have, oh, that's so funny. I'm gonna buy a case and like just bin the gay beer. I think they should have leaned into it. They missed a marketing opportunity.
They did. That would have been great. That next year they could do stuff like that. As time goes on, it'll be more and more of that. Because those people look so goofy. Why would you want to associate yourself with that? But I don't know.